A company just fired 62 of its 70 developers, and management told the 8 survivors the reason in 3 words: Claude is enough. I build products with that exact model every single day, so I can tell you precisely what those 3 words get right, what they get dangerously wrong, and the one number that CEO forgot to put in his spreadsheet. Here's the story that blew up this week. A developer posts on Reddit. His mid-sized services company, the kind that builds software for clients, just gutted his team in a single round. 70 people. Then, after one meeting, 8. That is a 90% cut in a single round. And leadership's explanation to the 8 survivors, allegedly word for word, was not about revenue or clients or strategy. It was about one AI model. Quote, Claude is enough. That's the whole justification. 3 words for 62 careers. Now, full disclosure, because I'm not in the clickbait business. The post is anonymous. The company is not named. Nobody has independently verified a word of it. Half the internet says it's real and terrifying. The other half says the client revenue dried up, the layoffs were coming anyway, and AI is just the respectable excuse. Here's my take. It doesn't matter. Because this story is either a lie or a preview, and both should worry you. And the reason it went viral anyway is that everyone, on both sides, quietly senses the same thing. The math finally, almost, works. Let me show you what I mean. Because look at the week this landed in. Not this year. Not this quarter. This exact week in July. July 6th. Microsoft cuts 4,800 jobs, about 2% of the entire company. 3,200 of those came from Xbox. That is roughly 1 in 5 people in the whole gaming division. 1,600 people were gone on day 1. Entire studios were spun off or rehomed. Franchises you grew up with now belong to someone else. And Microsoft's official line? Workers are not being replaced by AI. Their words. While the very same company pours record billions into AI data centers and rebuilds its entire sales organization around AI. You see the pattern here. So one anonymous company says AI took the jobs, and $1 trillion company swears AI didn't. Somewhere in between is the truth, and it has a price tag. Here's that price tag. Because the other thing that happened in this exact same week is a full-blown 3-way AI pricing war between the biggest labs on Earth. July 8th. Grok 4.5 lands at $2 in, $6 out per million tokens. July 9th, one day later. The full GPT 5.6 family goes public in 3 tiers. The cheapest one, Luna, costs $1 per million tokens in. And Thursday, Gemini 3.5 reportedly arrives around $1.25, with a 2 million token context window. Put the whole menu side by side and look at what intelligence costs now. Even the premium option, the Fable 5 those managers cited, is $10 in and $50 out, per million tokens. For context, a million tokens is roughly an entire codebase, read end to end. And it now costs about as much as a sandwich. Meanwhile, 71% of companies already use generative AI somewhere in the business. That number was a third in 2023. It has more than doubled in 3 years, collapsing prices on one side, exploding adoption on the other, which means every CEO on Earth is quietly opening the same spreadsheet right now. So let's actually do the spreadsheet, the one that gets 62 people fired. Start with what a developer costs. A mid-level dev, salary plus taxes plus benefits plus office, runs the company roughly $10,000 a month. Give or take. 62 developers, then, is in the ballpark of $7.4 million a year. $7.4 million buys you more Fable tokens than that company could realistically burn in a decade. I'm not exaggerating. Run the numbers yourself. So on paper, the CEO is completely right. The model is cheaper than the people. Not slightly cheaper, absurdly cheaper. And that's exactly what makes it so seductive. But here's the thing about spreadsheets. They have a nasty habit of only containing the numbers you remembered to type into them, because there's one number missing from that sheet. And it's the expensive one, the cost of the wrong line of code that nobody caught, shipped to a client. At 3 a.m. Don't take my word on the context, by the way. Pull up the coverage. Microsoft, 4,800 cuts, biggest hit on Xbox, Salesforce revamped around AI, all in the same news cycle as an anonymous post claiming one model replaced 62 engineers. Now, the part almost nobody in that Reddit thread could answer. What can this model actually do? I use Fable 5 every single day. On real products, with real paying customers, real deadlines, real bugs. So here's the version with no hype in either direction. Yes, it writes production-grade code. Whole features from a description. It debugs its own output. It refactors legacy nightmares that humans refuse to touch for years. One senior person plus this model genuinely does the output of what used to take a small team. I live this. So if your mental model of AI coding is still, it's fancy autocomplete, it can't touch my job, I need you to update that mental model today. For your own sake. But there are 3 jobs in that team of 70 that the model structurally cannot do. Job 1. Review. The model writes the code, but something still has to decide the code is right. And models grade their own homework badly. That's not an opinion, it's how they work. Job 2. Responsibility. When production goes down at 3 a.m., a model cannot be accountable to the client. A human name is on that contract. Job 3. Requirements. Clients don't know what they want. Extracting the real spec from a confused human is still a human sport. Review. Responsibility. Requirements. Now notice something about those 3. None of them scaled down from 70 people's clients to 8 people. The work shrank. The accountability didn't. So, my honest read, that company didn't discover AI. It discovered an excuse. But the excuse only exists because the capability is real. Which brings us to the most interesting people in this story. The 8 who stayed. Because their badge still says developer. Their LinkedIn still says developer. But that is not the job anymore, and everyone in that building knows it. Their job now is air traffic control. A fleet of AI agents writes the code. 8 humans direct, review, and take the blame. Think about the load. One person reviewing the output of what used to be 9 people's work, at machine speed. That's not a promotion. That's a pressure cooker with a salary. And if you're a developer watching this and feeling that cold spot in your stomach, here's the actual lesson. The safe seat is the reviewer's seat. Move toward it. Learn to specify precisely. Learn to review ruthlessly. Learn to own outcomes. The 3 R's are the moat. The people who only ever translated tickets into code, that job is the one the spreadsheet actually deleted. Even the Federal Reserve is now reportedly running a task force on AI labor displacement. When central bankers study your job title, it has stopped being a tech story. So, a lie or a preview? Here's how you'll know, and it won't be from press releases. Companies will keep saying nobody is being replaced by AI. Fine. Watch what they do instead. Watch headcount. Watch hiring freezes. Watch the org charts, not the press releases. And when the next earnings season shows flat revenue with shrinking engineering headcount, quarter after quarter, you'll have your answer without anyone admitting anything. 3 takeaways, and then what I'm doing about it. 1. The math is real now. A senior engineer plus a frontier model genuinely produces what a small team used to. Pretending otherwise is cope, and cope is not a career plan. 2. The 3 R's, review, responsibility, requirements, are the human moat. Move your career onto them. 3. Judge companies by headcount and shipping, never by the sentence, "We're not replacing anyone with AI." Tomorrow at noon, I'm publishing the real cost breakdown of the model in this story because its $2 price tag has fine print nobody reads. And Thursday, Gemini 3.5 drops, and I'll cover it the hour it lands. Subscribe so you're here for both. I'm Dex. Stay sharp.